Hey y'all, I am really hoping that I'm able to tape this. What the heck is going on with our sun? Like, this sun is like really beaming today. That my eyeballs are just like, if you don't put some shades on, we're gonna jump right out of your head. So, anywho, I hope you're having a good morning today. I want to talk about UFOs, aliens, whatever you want to call these freaking creatures, imposters. Okay, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, if you ask somebody, do you believe in aliens? They'll be looking at you like, you girl, if you don't get your crazy stuff out of here. Heck no, I don't believe in no aliens. Although media had all of these movies that came out, like Independence Day, War of the Worlds, and all of that flying saucers. And then, of course, you had a couple of what people used to call them crazies that talked about they got abducted by aliens and all of this other stuff, right? Now, if y'all remember, I had a dream about some aliens, I think it was like maybe 3 years back. And I said to myself, and this is not to sound racist or anything like that, but first of all, I've never, like, every time I looked on TV, I've never seen like black people that say, UFOs and this, that, and the third. Now, my sister, of course, she's black. She's always believed that there was UFOs, and I would look at her like she's nuts. You're like, you're nuts, man. Like, don't mention that in public. But after I had this dream, the dream was so puzzling because not only was I shown a UFO, an unidentified flying object, and when I asked what it was in my dream, this Einstein character, in which I'm going to do a whole editing to show you exactly what I saw. This Einstein character told me exactly what they were. He told me that they came from us and that there's 40 billion of them. And when he said they came from us, the first thing that came to my mind is like in a lab somewhere, they tried to create these things, or what's the word? I guess clone. They try to combine our DNA with theirs or something like that. Now remember, I wasn't looking at no movie. Like, where did this dream come from? But the thing that puzzled me was that the Einstein told me, first of all, in the backdrop, I saw their ships. They were like a huge metal. Like, they look like huge, how can I say it? They look like huge pies. Like, you know how a pie is round? Just imagine something like the size of this, I don't know if you can see this building, something the size of that building. But they were huge. They were just, when I tell you they were huge, I gotta get over you guys. When I tell you they were huge and they were metal. And he told me that they multiply, they breed at a rate that is so fast. He said there was 40 billion of them. And when I thought about that number after waking up from the dream, I'm like, 40 billion. And I had to ask my cousin, like, how many people are in the world today? And we looked it up. It's like almost 6 billion people in the world today. There's 40 billion. Now this is the thing. You could say, oh, Mona, this, but the main media, the Fox News, CNN, freaking NASA is now telling you that, yes, we are not alone. What the heck? When was y'all going to tell people this? Now every time you look up, you're seeing something that doesn't look like what you're used to seeing, like a regular plane. I mean, we can say drone, we can say this, but nah. And now people who literally talk about being abducted by these things are saying that they put little chips or something in them, like as if what we do to animals when we try to trace them and see how they are. There are real women who talked about how they took their ovaries and all this other stuff. There are real people who talked about how these things probed them. And so I'm like, wait a minute. So it got me searching online. I wanted to know, like, okay, what are they? So I came across this, I don't know what he is. It was the guy back in the day. I think they did an interview with this dude, like, back in the late 70s, the early 80s, or maybe it was even, it looked like probably in the 90s. His name was Crodo or something like that, and I'm still trying to look for this video. But the guy was asking him questions, and he was basically like I wouldn't say a psychic. He was someone who was a seer or whatever. But when they asked him about aliens and UFOs, this is what he said. And this thing, the hair on my body just stood up. He said that these things, he started to think, and he said, wait a minute. He said they don't like humans. They don't like humans, and they do things to try to figure out how they can survive on this earth by probing and analyzing the human DNA and everything. And then he said, wait a minute. This is what really stood up on my hair, y'all. He said, these are our descendants. And I said, oh my God. Now remember, I had a dream, never saw anything, and now you're telling me this is what he said out of his mouth. So I don't know if it's Area 54, 55, 56, or 2009. UBAM has been up to some things that you're not supposed to be up to. And these creatures are not cool, man. It's like they talk about the fallen angels who go onto women, right? But you know what was so freaking crazy? Around that same time, I'm in my own home. My cousin, I told her about the dream. She had a dream, but she forgot about a dream that God gave her a couple of years back. God took her from earth and took her way somewhere else. And she felt like she was in a lab somewhere. She saw women who were strapped down, and they were breeding these women. These were aliens. This is what she said. She was so, and the Lord showed her how far away she was from earth. I remember her telling me about this dream. At that time, I think we were still like in our early 30s, maybe in our late 20s. And now we get it. Like, these things are not cool. Now remember, if you look back, and I'm going to have to do a whole editing of this. But if you look back at my old dreams, I had a dream where I was walking with my sister, and I saw the Back to the Future car. Like, I knew that car was coming. And it was a timeline we were walking on. And it was like as if we were walking on the side of the road. Let me show you. Gosh, this thing. Like, we were walking on the side of the road. And on the side of, like, the shoulder, I could see things that were, like, out of commission. Like, as if they haven't been activated yet. And I was telling her, we walked past an alien spaceship, and it looked like a drawing like out of The Simpsons, but I knew it was an alien spaceship, but it was out of commission, like as if it wasn't activated yet. You understand? It's like you're looking at a robot that's just turned off. And I'm saying that this is what's going to happen. So I was walking with my sister. Hold on, y'all. While I was walking with my sister, I told her that these will come after the rapture. I told her that. And when we ended up going down the timeline, we went in the room, and the whole time I was walking with her, I felt like that Back to the Future car. Remember that car in Back to the Future? Or if you ever seen that movie, Rady Gamer 1, that car was still coming, and it had lights in front of it. Remember, if you ever remember the movie Back to the Future, when that car went to you saw the lights that were in front of it. Well, when me and her hit the room, that car kept coming. When we turned the corner and we entered some room, that car came around the corner. And when I tell you, I repented, because that car, the light that was on that car, it consumed us. That all I felt was just the love of God. And I was repenting. And we got raptured. We got raptured. But this is my thing. I've been noticing a lot of regular folks having rapture dreams, hell dreams, judgment dreams, and UFO dreams. Like alien UFO dreams. When the heck did we start doing this? And now you're telling me that China is talking about having a moon, I guess in 2020, to light up the streets. This is real stuff. I was just looking at it yesterday. YouTube was just shut down 2 days ago, and someone video was taken off of YouTube because he actually had he showed you glitz in the moon. And now everybody's talking about this flat earth. And I always honestly thought the earth was flat with just a huge dome over it, but whatever. But these UFO things, man, are not what you think they are. They're not cool. They are not cool, but they are smart and they're very freaking intelligent. When I saw that spaceship in my dream, and I said, remember, and I'm gonna have to edit these videos too, y'all, so I can visually show y'all. Now, everybody's talking about this SpaceX, right? In my dream, if you remember the alien dream I had a couple of years ago, I said that it was a rocket that was launched, but the rocket didn't go straight up. It went horizontal. It went across. But there was something behind the rocket that was just going so fast, and I said, "What is it?" And then when I zoomed up on it, it was a UFO. I'm like, "What is it?" All of a sudden, this Einstein came and told me exactly what it was. It told me exactly what the creatures were. And then he said that they multiply at high rates, y'all. I'm talking, their breeding is just off the freaking meters. I mean, these Bammers went at 40 billion. We're not talking about million. We're talking about 40 billion of them. And when he showed, and the backdrop that was behind me were like huge freaking spaceships, but they were metal, like they were high metal. They were just made of complete metal, and they were those ships were humongous. Like they looked like freaking apartment buildings. That's how big they were. These things are so freaking intelligent that just like as us is just like that's say. Since we're trying to get a bat and we grab this bat and sedate this bat, and then we go ahead and put a chip or whatever in the bat to see how this bat is doing. That's how they are to humans. They telepathically can talk, but they look at us as if we're like animals, and they really don't like us. That's why they've been trying to figure out how to take the place. Some of these movies that they come out with, y'all, are not far-fetched from reality. Everybody else is talking about them. That you got military officials, you got high-ranking people with degrees, Christian folks, people that are coming out and speaking and telling you the truth about these freaking things. But they do fear God. They fear God because remember, I had another dream when I was walking Symphony, and she was in the stroller, and I looked over and I saw E.T. just standing there. He looked at me with them glowing eyes. And next thing you know, I saw a spaceship that was trying to take me up. And imagine I'm going up with a freaking stroller. Symphony's in the stroller, and I just said, "Jesus, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus!" And while it was taking me up, it was like boom, it just dropped. Sorry, y'all. I think my phone is overheating. It is. I need to contact Apple because I'm tired of these phones. Tell you, the thing about it is that a lot of the celebrities already know about it. when I mean, I know it sounds far-fetched, but no, it really doesn't. They already freaking know about it. When who is it? When Kanye West did that video with your girl Katy Perry, Extraterrestrial, everybody was trying to figure out what it was. After I had that dream, I knew what it was. You know what it was about? It was about Katy Perry breeding with these freaking aliens. Look at the movie Extraterrestrial. You'll see at the beginning it's her and E.T. in a ball of space having sex with each other. And then she comes out to be this complete different creature. These Bammers been knew about this stuff. And it's going to be a shock to y'all when y'all see these things come out of nowhere. I mean, if y'all stop paying attention to your phones, just look up at night. You can tell the difference between a plane has a beacon on it. A helicopter has a beacon light on it. Because, you know, when you're in airspace, you need to know where the other plane is going. Because if you don't, it could be a freak accident, right? Look up in space and you're going to see things that you ain't never, I mean, not space, but you know what I mean? Look up in the sky, you're going to see things moving and can't even understand what the freak is it because it's not a plane. In plain sight, y'all, we're not talking about 1 billion visitors here. It's 40 billion of them. It's 40 billion of them. There are real people that went to real doctors and said that and got hypnotized, and the doctors were just frightened out of what these people have said. I mean, well, how can you explain that? How can you explain somebody who says that these things put something in them, and when they go to do an x-ray, they can clearly see that there's an object in them, and when they go to remove the object, they say that this is nothing that's man-made in this world. We can't explain what this is. You ask the president this mess, we don't want to. They kind of joke it off like, So anyway, when that thing tried to lift me up, and I said, Jesus, 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 Jesus. I remember I'm going up, and I said, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. It dropped me like, oh. When it dropped me, I ran, but I was running at first, but then something kicked in. No, you need to run. And I ran in the house. I told my cousin about that dream. Do you know 2-3 days later, she said she had a dream. She was walking, and a freaking spaceship tried to take her up. And in her dream, she was like, I remember what Ramona said. And so she called on Jesus, and the thing dropped her too. So all I can say is when that time comes, if them things start, you better call on the Lord. Because those entities are afraid of Jesus. They are afraid of Jesus. They're afraid of him. I asked 2 people yesterday. Let me ask you a question. Do you believe in UFOs? I'm not going to say I don't. I don't know. People aren't even saying, heck no, I don't believe in them Jays, man. Y'all tripping. Now you got folks, you got regular folks is capturing them on camera. Like, what the heck is this? So do I believe that they exist after having my dream? Sorry, y'all. Sorry, y'all. I don't know why, but I know why. My phone is a hot mess. I'm trying to tell you, Apple ought to be ashamed of themselves making these breakable phones. But anyway, so where was I? Yeah, a lot of these celebrities already, or y'all celebrity, they already know about it. They've been knew about it. And I'm gonna tell you something too. These dudes are they're very advanced. I was looking at a video yesterday, and somebody posted a comment saying, after looking at all of these things, these people may be God. These creatures may be gods compared to us. No, they're not. I believe they are fallen angels. I believe they are an entity that is not. They've been trying to. They've been trying to get what we got. Some of them even walk amongst us and are imposters, I suppose. Well, not suppose, but they are. But yeah, do I believe that they're? Yeah, I do believe that they're going to be. You're going to see a lot more of them, but they're not just sprinkled. We're talking about 40 billion of them. It's only 6 billion of us. We're talking about 40 bill with a B, billion. And you're breeding. You're using these women and these men to create something that's not in God's will. You're trading people off for technology. That's not cool. But anyway, so the other guy video, he was saying how he think that these things are like gods. I'm like, man, they're not God. So you see, that's what the enemy wants you to believe. Like, these things are just they're not God. They're anti. And they've been around for a very long time. But see, God loves us that he gave us this world. Like, these things right here, they've been trying from the very beginning to be like how we are. So, I mean, pay attention to, like, when you're not looking at or even keep your phone with you, because you're going to see something that you're not going to be able to explain. Because there's too many people that are seeing things and not able to explain. They're seeing that the sun is setting in the wrong place. They're seeing two suns. They're seeing crazy, flickering suns, crazy things with our freaking moon. And I had to really think, like, we talk about nuclear war and all this other stuff, right? What if some of these countries they're not tripping off of their next door neighbor? Like South Korea, North Korea, and America, and China. What if they really got these weapons to blast out ET? Like, anyway, that's just for a thought today. So you tell me, do you believe that there are UFOs? I mean, think about it. The news is saying it now. CNN, Fox, NBC, mainstream media is saying these things now. People are hearing weird things places. I mean, what do you have fighter pilots and people who have been in the military that are seeing strange things that they never seen before, and they're just like, they lying to y'all. This is what's about to go down. You got some people that are speaking. My pastor said that they were in. They're gonna ask him where, and then I'm sorry, I'm trying to read it, but I'm sitting up here driving. My pastor said that they were in the Bible extraterrestrial. I'm gonna ask him where, and then put it in the next live feed. In the Bible, I believe they call them the Nephilim, where they call them the Nephilim, the falling angels. And in those days there were, I don't think he said there were giants in those days, and they used to go into women. So these creatures here, all I can say is this Einstein character in my dream said they came from us. And I'm like, they came from us. And when he said that in my dream, I thought about like Area 51, like they've been breeding them. Okay, let's see. You can't put a curse on Christians, boo. I told you that before. I'm blessed and highly favored. So it's one of those things where y'all just gotta pay attention. I mean, not to be afraid of it, but at the same time, don't try to go to something that can bite your hand off. And like I said, these things are very, like when I saw that spaceship behind that rocket, first of all, it looked like a little dot. I'm talking about the Bible, and the Bible is described as what we used to call flying saucers and aliens. Oh yeah. So not Nephilim, but I think they call them aliens, didn't they? Didn't they actually say that in the Bible? I have to look it up too. I know they talked about giants. There's been this huge cover up of, I mean, we know about David and Goliath, right? But there's been this huge cover up on the remains of giants that they've been finding. It's like they snatch it up and they hide it. And the reason why they do that is because if you find any bone structure or any remains of a giant, you have to admit that the Bible is very accurate and true. You have to admit that. So it's one of those things where, like I said, y'all pay attention to y'all guys, because like I said the other day, me and my niece was taking out the trash and we looked up and I was like, that's not no plane. I mean, it was very bright too. Like it was as high as it was higher than a plane, but it was very bright. Like, what type of aircraft would have that type of light on it with no beacon light whatsoever? And of course I had to scream my cousin name out, and both of my cousins came to the balcony and I'm like, look. And they're both looking like, what is it? It's to the point now, and trust me, it had to be one of those days that I didn't have my cell phone on me. But I'm always looking up because I'm like, that's not what we're used to seeing. And even older people are like, the skies are not looking like they used to look. So I do believe that they are going to come. They are going to be seen. I believe that a lot of people, like these so-called devil worshippers, are going to be get with them, and they don't care. They will allow them to probe them, take their bodies, and give them over to them. And some of these women have already done it. I looked at these so-called alien abductions, and these women were basically like, you can have my body. They were going along with this, and I'm like, this is not right. But anyway, I just wanted to share that. Do I believe in UF? Do I believe that they exist? Absolutely. If you'd asked me 7 years ago, 6 years ago, I would have been like, heck no. What are you talking about? Yes, I heard the stories, woo, 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 but I think they're nuts. But after having that dream, and God gives us, and I've had too many dreams, and now I'm starting to see saints, God-fearing people have these alien dreams. They come out. I mean, come on now. Is that we're not looking at the same TV show here. And also too, I'm starting to see crazy things. Like, I remember one time I was walking solo and I was headed towards home, and I saw what looked like a fireball that was coming down. It just looked like it had fire behind it. When I went to put it in Google, they have archives now where people are seeing strange things. And it was so crazy because they'll be like, the sighting took place in Silver Spring, Maryland, and Forestville, Maryland. I'm like, wait a minute. By Washington, D.C. I'm like, this is right in my backyard. Y'all actually have archives for this? Like, y'all, this is very strange this is a strange time that we're living in. And you cannot sit up here and be like, oh, none of this is true. Well, your news is saying it, so, and they're pushing it too. They are pushing this alien thing, this UFO thing. Your president knows about it. Matter of fact, the last presidents knew about it. CIA members are telling you that they have to prep the commander-in-chief when he get in office, and then let you know, look, congratulations on your presidency after they sworn in. Now we about to tell you some real stuff. So it's true. We wrestle not against flesh and blood. We wrestle against some evil stuff, not just spiritually, entities, but we got some real crazy foreign things that we see on sci-fi movies that are actually real. That are actually real. Forensics have been backing up. Good morning, lady. So I don't know what to, I don't know what to tell y'all. I'm not trying to convince anybody. All I'm saying is this. It's 40 billion of them, and daggone it, I don't want to see one of them. I don't want to have to deal with that type of mess. Seeing some grays or the ones with the big eyeballs, I don't want to deal with it. And when you hear these guys talk about what has happened to them, it's freaking scary. Because these creatures are so highly advanced. I'll tell them I said hi. These creatures are so highly advanced. You will be feeling like one of them animals that can't get away. And they just sitting right there telling you to calm down telepathically while they're inserting crazy things in you so they can figure out your DNA. And the government knows this. But what gets me is that China is trying to put a freaking moon up in space. Not even a moon, but what did they say? What's it called? An illusion, so they can have street. That's bull. They know something is about to go down. There's too many saints having dreams like this. There's too many saints. Our government knows this too. So y'all gonna be in for a ride. Hold on to your eyelashes, because y'all gonna see some things. And I've had too many dreams to confirm it. I've seen too many people that I've been following and doing my Bible studies and stuff. Now all of a sudden, we talk about real, and I'm talking about not fake prophets, but we talking about real prophets that were shown UFOs and aliens. All this time we've been having Bible study about Matthew, Mark, Luke, all of that good stuff. Genesis, Daniel. We sit up here, we Bible studying Proverbs. You talking about how God gave you a dream of judgment, and all of a sudden you just have a UFO dream. And like I said, if you don't, they've been knew about it though. They've been knew about it. Look at the Katy Perry video, Extraterrestrial, with your man Kanye West in it. And remember Kanye West, he did the flow, I'ma disrobe you, then I'ma probe you. Y'all gotta understand, I used to rap, so a lot of the lyrics, some type of truth to it. I mean, at first I started writing just to make a hit, but then I started to write about the realities and things that I went through and what I saw. So this dude was sitting up here talking about some alien activities and what they do. But if you look at the music video with Katy Perry at the beginning, her and E.T. is getting it in. They are in space, and you see his E.T. head stick out. You see her head stick out. You see her wrapping around him. That's because they sitting up there getting it in. And then at the end, she becomes this new creature. But then at the end, remember that freaking thing came out of that capsule that looked like the back of some demon? I think it was an albino boy, but he had the legs of a freaking deer. They're telling you truth in their videos. You don't gotta believe me, because trust and believe me, when you see them, you're gonna be like, Mona was right. Who did she say to call on? You better call on Jesus, and you better run like Forrest Gump. That's all I gotta say. Get in your homes. You better get down. And hopefully you didn't miss the first ride, because when the Lord comes back, when tribulation happens, all hell is going to be breaking loose. Hold on, let me read what you just said. Did you realize after the eclipse we had a major Hurricane Harvey? Oh yeah. The scientists said that they were doing experiments right before the eclipse, shooting things up in space. They said this was yeah, and they talk about the SpaceX, but that's bull because that same rocket that went up, people been seeing it all over the place. Matter of fact, they just saw it in China, and that wasn't no SpaceX. People are like, I don't care what anyone says, this is not a freaking rocket. It's not. I'm telling y'all some real stuff. Y'all gonna see some stuff you ain't never seen before. Believe it or not, but more and more you see NASA coming out. We're not alone. They're talking about a new planet called Planet X or something like that. Where y'all coming up with this stuff? Y'all know something I don't know. Okay. This is the major, this is NASA. This is not coming just from Mona. NASA is stating this stuff. CNN is telling you, hey, we think it's a UFO. Wait a minute. Wait. First y'all was calling everybody conspiracy theorists and calling them nut jobs. And now you're coming out and saying, hey, the governments, even Russia and other places are saying that you need to tell your people the truth. You better freaking prepare. And they're not good. They're not gods. They're not to be trusted. And you need to call on Jesus. Because they are afraid of that word. Because when they tried to snatch me up in a dream, and I was like, Jesus, they was like, oh, and let me go. It's going to be a lot of you stupid people out there that's going to be like, they can take me and do what they want. They sure will. They sure will. And some of these new creatures that still just, I don't know what to call them, they have the DNA of humans. Because they come from some humans. And I bet you if they're looking at this video right now, they'd be like, how the heck does she know all of this? I bet some scientists be like, she know a lot. That's because the Lord showed me. I don't have no freaking alien dreams. And then it wasn't even just like space shuttles coming. I mean, this thing broke it down and told me what they were. That spaceship defined the speed of light, man. It was like the speed of light. This thing was going so quick. Very high tech. But yeah, y'all, if y'all don't believe me, look at the videos yourselves. Thank y'all for tuning in. But I gotta get in. I gotta make this money. Gotta make this money.